Thanks for checking into our RV solar channel. We install solar and off-grid battery systems onto RVs, pretty much anything you can put it on that's not connected to the grid. Pretty self-explanatory. We are doing a pretty big system on an Alliance Paradigm Alliance. I forget which is the make, which is the model, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be a great system. We're doing 24 volts, as much solar as we can fit up there, and 800 amp hours of 24 volt battery. That's 1600 amp hours for you 12 volt folks out there. I've been doing some recon on this. That's the first thing we do before we ever do a system, is we try and make a plan on what we're going to do. And I just finished that up, and I'm going to share with you how we are going to install it in there. And then throughout the rest of the video, we are going to actually be installing it. It might be long, it might be painfully tedious, and maybe some dad jokes thrown in there. And of course, these boogers right here, they're always hanging around causing trouble. So yeah, without further ado, let's see what we got going on here. All right, let's take you through the where we're going to start here. Like a lot of these, we're going to be putting the equipment up here. Now this one was looks like generator prepped, or this is just the way they do it, where a generator could go here. If not, you can use it for storage. What I think we're going to do is we're going to put everything up there. That makes the most sense to me. And then it's going to be a little tricky, because this is going to be a 2 inverter setup. 2 Victron Multiplus 3000s in there. We're going to wire those in parallel. We can talk about pros and cons on that later. But I think I'm going to have to go sideways with them, because this compartment is just about 24 inches high in some spaces, and that Multiplus is about 21 or so inches tall. We'll take a look. If I can mount vertical, I would prefer that, but we will see what we have to do. And then I'm sure we can find room for the rest of the equipment. We get these little pass-through cables right there, or knockouts, where we can pass cables back and forth. So that's pretty cool. Then coming around over here to our utility side, I took a look, and what do we got here? Got our shore power hookup. That's important, because when you're installing a full inverter system like this, we run the power from here or from the back of the panel, one of the two. In this case, we might be doing both from here. So this is the input. We run that to the Multipluses. Then we have to take the output of the Multipluses and run them back. And that would go right back to the back of the panel. It's way back there. It's a little tough to see, but it's back there. That's where the main panel is. So that's not gonna be too tough. We'll run these across, or up, yeah, up here. Then the other thing we have is that vent line there. That's gonna be important, because I think we're gonna use that for solar cable. Let's go up on top and talk about that a little bit more. So up here on the roof, we got a couple of vents, and take a gander at which one you think is the black tank vent. I'm gonna say that one, maybe. Actually, it could be that one too. I don't know for sure, but I just thought that was, that's the first time I remember seeing one of the vents being black. I think the other two are for the 2 gray tanks. But so I think we'll push a set of conductors up the gray tank vent and seal that up like we've done before for a second set of conductors, because we're going to do 2 charge controllers on here too. We're trying to do that more when we can. Here's where this stock panel is already on there. Now every project we do, it seems like there's always something that makes us nervous, makes me nervous. I'm going to talk about that thing that makes me nervous. Well, at least I got a plan, but it's iffy. And this is it right here inside, where I think we're going to put that monitor. And the reason why it makes me nervous is this sounds pretty hollow. I'm not worried about the hollowness of this. Maybe even, sometimes these just pop right off. Yeah, there we go. Looks like there's a good amount of space in there. But what's makes me nervous is this is a pocket door. So it's going to be tough to figure out what room we actually have where we can put the monitor here, the Servo GX display. Worst case scenario, and we've had to do this once before, or a couple times before, we take this piece of trim off very carefully, and then we peel back this piece of trim. Actually, I'm looking, we could probably just peel it back here. That would probably give us enough access to that. I'm thinking we may have to take off the stairs. We'll see. And then you put it all back together. Nobody's the wiser. That may be what has to happen. We'll find out. So now that that's sorted out, actually it's starting to look like rain a little bit. I think I'm going to button this up a little bit just to make sure it stays safe. And go back in our nice shop over here, which is, we don't have this in here for a couple of reasons. So the reason we don't have that fifth wheel in the shop is, one, I don't really have room for it right now. I need to do some remodeling in there before I can get something that long in there. But maybe a bigger reason is I don't have a way to move it myself. I don't have a truck that can move a fifth wheel yet. We don't have to worry about snow for a while here, I hope. It's just April. You never know. But I'll probably need to get a truck at some point that is capable of moving a fifth wheel, and who knows, maybe we'll add a plow on it and it'll be the shop plow truck. But that's what we got going on. Oh, I'm smoking some ribs here. Let's check out those real quick, huh? Those are coming out all right. Those will be mighty tasty. What do you think, boys? Now I got it in here a little bit just because it's so windy. I wasn't able to get it much over 200, 250 degrees with the wind. You know, sometimes you have plans and then plans change and then there's stuff happens. Being short-staffed here right now, I didn't get a lot done the rest of the day. It's actually after dinner now, and I'm starting to lay this out, and it's probably about as far as I'm going to get on this today, but let me show you where we're at, and then we'll pick up tomorrow. So here's what I'm thinking for the layout for the board, or at least something that might resemble this. This is the first time I've done this exact model in this space with these components, so things might change. And let's talk about the components, shall we? We got two Multiplus inverters, 2x120, 24 volt. Love those. And we typically wire these in parallel. The advantage with that is you don't need any balancing between the two. The downside is you can't limit your input charge current much lower than about 18 to 19 amps. So for some, connecting to a 15 amp charge source is really difficult, almost impossible. But, you know, like I said, there's pros and cons to each. Let's keep going. We got our 50 amp charge controllers, and the charge controllers here are two 50 amp chargers, and these are a little bit smaller for a big system like this, you might be thinking, but on 24 volts, these capture the same amount of energy as a 100 amp charger would on a 12 volt system. That's why we can get away with these, and that's where the savings in a 24 volt system really start to come in. Along with wire sizing, you get to have the wire sizing, half the solar chargers, all that stuff. And the only thing you got to do to make it work, and people ask about this all the time, is this next component here, which is the Orion step-down converter. It takes 18 to 35 volts and spits out a nice consistent 13.4 volts. And what I also like about it is there's a potentiometer right there that is adjustable. On my particular RV, I actually adjusted that up to 14.2 volts because I wanted my awning to have just a little bit more juice. And then we got, of course, the Servo SGX there. That's a little bit cheaper than the normal Servo GX. We've got a Lynx shunt and the Lynx distributor and the Lynx power in. Part of the reason why we're using more of the Lynx family on this one is because I want this to be rated to run those buggers for a long time. This particular customer, we're doing 8 of these batteries, so that is a lot of power. I want plenty of thermal overhead on all this. So that's why we're using more of the Lynx products. We'll probably have to parallel two of those batteries to each one of these inputs, but that should work out just fine. And we'll probably put this down wherever I end up installing the batteries. That's where these guys are going to end up. Hey, look who showed up, everybody.
Oh, hi.
The mustache man himself.
I'm 40 now. I got to look my age.
Yeah, I guess. So he's just up visiting.
Yeah.
I believe going to be doing work this summer with us, right?
Well, probably. It just depends on if my mustache modeling career takes off, but
all right.
The wife might have something to say about it.
All right, so be looking for that in upcoming episodes, but I think he's got to get running. He's just up here for a little bit.
Yep, visiting some family. Got to head back.
Yeah, he was doing some consulting on that alliance with us.
Yeah.
I think we got a plan figured out.
I think so. Should work out good.
Hopefully.
I don't have to lift it, so
all right,
great.
It's been a long day. Closing in on the end of it here. So I've got the mounting brackets on the Multipluses mounted. So, I mean, they'll basically lift up this entire board. You can see that if I was strong enough, which I guess I'm not. But the way that bracket is, maybe I'll show it in another video. It should hold as long as I have it tight this way and I put the screws in right here. I don't see any reason why I won't hold it horizontally like this. And if it's not clear, this board is going to end up being on its side like this. And so both of these Multipluses are going to be on their side like this. I'm going to put these on later. So that's why I don't have these secured down at all. And I just kind of got these cables laying around. And I don't have my AC cables run yet. Let's talk about this here for a moment, shall we? So we're doing a parallel inverter setup. A lot of people might want to run a 240 split phase, two hot legs. So one inverter would be leg one, the other inverter leg two. There is one advantage to that in my mind, which is you can use one inverter for charging, which means you can go all the way down to, I think around 10, or you can for sure easily connect the system to a 15 amp shore power connection, because you can go down to the lowest that this inverter supports. But that's about the only plus side to it. The downside to running one inverter on each leg is they're not balanced. Now you can run an auto transformer in between the two to balance the legs, but now that's another device. And as you can see, this is about all the room we got, and we are running out of room here, and we got a pretty big compartment to make it all work. You could probably find room for it, I ain't gonna lie. And we may do that in the future for some situations, but we talked about the pros and cons with this customer. This is the way we ended up going. So we're doing parallel, and that way the inverters rather are always balanced. So if you're running 1500 watts, 750 from this one, 750 from that one. So in theory, you could probably even run 3 air conditioners from this thing. I would not recommend it. Don't do it. But just as a party trick, I think they'll all fire up. With soft starts, of course. So, I'm getting off track here a little bit. Let's talk about this little contraption that we're doing for the very first time. This is a DIN rail mount with Dinkel, that's the term, or that's the brand name, Dinkel terminal blocks. And I've just got some jumpers in here. I had to cut some of the ones that came with it in half. I have the correct ones coming shortly, so I just have these in there right now so that I can connect this all up and it'll work. We'll replace these before this goes into production. But the way this is going to go is, so you got 2 holes here. Shore power input will come through the raceway into this set. Okay, you get your neutral, line 2, ground, line 1. Same order that we do here. Okay, so that's the input. We have 1 line coming into each of these. Then with the jumpers, we'll take 2 lines out, 1 line, come out here to this neutral. Then the other line, the white, will come up here, over here, to this neutral. And likewise, the hots, or line 2, same thing, 1 to each inverter. And then same thing on the output. You know, the output line will come out of here and the 2 will come in here. So this will manage the 2-to-1 connections that we need to make. Let me show you how well, up until now, how we've always done it. We would typically use a splice like this, and we can put one 6/4 conductor in there, a 6-gauge conductor in one side, and then believe it or not, we can fit 2 6-gauge conductors in the other side, and then I'd screw them down, heat shrink them up, and just tuck them in the raceway. And to be honest, if it were just me, I wouldn't have a problem with that, but I'm trying to do things better. I was talking to an electrician friend of mine, and he said it should really be in a box, and this is probably the way we should do it. So this is the way I think we're going to do these going forward, is using these DIN rail things. And as you know, other followers of the channel, we have been doing more work with DIN rail components over the years, and I think we're going to continue to do even more. I'm not done experimenting with replacing the links system with a complete DIN rail breaker solution. I haven't given up on yet. So that's what's going on there. Obviously, 2 charge controllers, got those wired up the solar breakers into those. So all I got to do is feed my 2 solar connections into here. That's good to go. We use the bonus connector on here. We're running this 60 amp breaker into this Orion. Now this is an Orion 70 amp, right? This 24-1270. That 70 is on the 12 volt output. So that means on the 24, it's half that. So this is plenty good for that. And then we are going to be running the Lynx shunt in addition to the Lynx distributor. And that does power the lights natively using the official method. And we've got we got a 325 amp fuse. That was the biggest one I could get from Victron right now, and I think that'll be just fine. We have each of the Multipluses fused at 200 amps each. I run a similar system in RRV. I have never seen over 200 amps being pulled, and I've pushed those to the maximum, so I'm not worried. Yeah, and then got each of the solar chargers fused, and then we'll run a line from here, the output, down to the battery in the bay, where the normal 12 volt battery is. We're going to leave that in place, and then all the 24 volt batteries are going to connect here, and we're going to use this big old fuse or breaker and disconnect to run the mains where we mount the batteries, and I still haven't quite determined that yet. I think that's everything that we got going on here. Typically, I will program everything here as well, and I will do that, but I'm probably going to do that tomorrow morning. It's getting pretty late here tonight. This is about all I have to share on this part of it. It is a great day to be installing solar today. Got my 2 helpers back for more. Bear, the Bernese Mountain Dog, and Zuki, the Golden. For everybody who doesn't know, Zuki's not mine. He lives next door at a well, he doesn't live there, but he's a shop dog next door, but he kind of takes care of Bear for me during the day. Anyway, let's get on to let me show you what we got going on here as this install continues. We got Pace and Bear Tax here. How you doing, bud? It's about 60 degrees and he's looking for shade. You are going to be one hot dog this summer, bud. All right. Okay, here is how that board is fitting in there, and boy, I'm really glad I went about an 1/8 inch shorter than I thought I needed to, because I definitely needed that little bit of extra room. But we've got to fit it in here. I think it's going to work out just fine. And 2 inverters I'm going to stack up there. I got those on my official golf cart. We'll get those installed shortly. Right now I'm just verifying that I can get my AC power in over here. And one of the reasons why this board's a little bit shorter is because I was smart this time and I measured the opening, not the interior width. It's really important when you're designing something that you're going to slip in here later that it can get through the opening, you know? So, yeah, I think this is going to go together pretty good, pretty quick here, hopefully. At least in real time. In YouTube time, boy, you probably only got about 10-15 minutes left. We better get on it. If anybody's curious what I do with all these fasteners that we get with the solar panel brackets, well, this is the one use I do have for them. I'm securing the backboard up with them. They work great for that. Just did that there. And yeah, probably throw one more in there. That's what I got. And with this guy, not going anywhere. No, sir. It's not often a plan goes exactly to plan, but this is one of those times it did. Check this out. I used this little piece of 3/4 and just slid it under there, or I guess, believe me, it used to go under there. Oh yeah, this thing flexes down a little bit. So I use that to space that and keep that level. And then I just put this right here. Right, that went right in between there. And then that's how I got the spacing there, and that held it against that bracket. And so, you know, I'm gonna pull on this here. It ain't going anywhere. Trickiest part I thought about this was how do I actually get them mounted, but that worked. All right, now we got to start wiring this stuff up. You know, I hear the Vikings are looking for a new quarterback. Zuki, what would you need for a contract? You think, you know? Yeah, I definitely won't fumble the ball much, tell you that. Here's where I'm at. I got wiring up some of the AC side stuff using the this new fangled box. So you can kind of see, wired both my AC outs to here. And then we just do one set of conductors out of here, up into the panel. And then gonna do the other side. So I'm about half done. I don't know, I figured this is taking me somewhere between half hour and 45 minutes to get this far. That's one reason why doing a 2 inverter system, plan for more time, is just more tedious stuff like this. All right, I wasn't sure exactly how it was gonna turn out, but there it is. Hopefully the colors are matching up. And just in time, because I'm about out of this wire now, so I gotta go get some more so I can do the main runs. But we're not done yet today. We're gonna be hopefully putting some batteries down here. I think that's the plan. So I'm gonna go get those unboxed and see what's going on inside the house maybe. Well, we're out here another day, and we're getting the batteries installed right in that compartment there. Thought I'd show you what I'm planning to do for that. And, oh, I got a helper coming. What are you doing, bud? What are you doing? Okay, okay. He said, not without me. Not without me. Okay. So I spent some time yesterday making a plan for this. Oh, he's got stuff to do. Okay. Boy, originally we were actually thinking maybe we could put the batteries up there, but there's not really going to be the room we're going to need. I think we're going to end up using almost this entire space, and I just last night came up with the solution, so today I'm going to build it. So I'm going to show you what my plan is there. Okay, forgive the condition of our wood shop side of our shop, but this is what I'm thinking. I got to do some modifying to this, but in short, we're going to do, right, we got one of those like that. One of these like that, right? This is kind of what I'm thinking. We're gonna cover all these with that felt material, and I've got, don't worry, I got 3 more of these batteries that are gonna go in here. So for 8 total. And here's the challenge: I need to get the containment into the bay. I have to get the batteries in. I have to get them wired in, and I have to get the Lynx power in here somewhere too. So my original thought was I'll just stack it up, but as it turns out, that bay is only about 20 inches tall, and this thing already is approaching 16 inches tall. But if I were to add a top to it and add this to it, we're looking at about 1.5 inches clearance. I don't like that. And that would mean I would have to compress from the top. So my plan is I switched it up, and what I think I'm going to do, and you can already see I outlined my cut here. I'm going to cut the board, the front part of the board out, cut this shape out, and then basically make strips, adhere strips of wood to the face of this going across here, and using these handles as kind of a hold down. So the board will go across here, secure here, across here, and secure here. And the same thing on the back side. I'm gonna have to build a little step on the back side of it to accommodate this as well. But I think that's the way it's gonna work. So this project, it's kind of turning into a woodworking project here now to put this together. And then this is gonna be upside down, landed on there. And then the main fuse, or the main breaker, will be right over here. Hey Zook, what's up, bud? Oh, we got future Vikings quarterback here, Zuki. He's dropping back to pass. Oh, he's you know what? He decided he's gonna run it himself. So anyway, I got a lot to do. I'm so behind on this project. We got so many things going on out here. I got to get to this. Starting to get the picture a little bit. I am. Customer stopped by a little bit on that Alliance, and he said I can keep working. He didn't fire me yet, so we're gonna keep going on this. So yeah, here's how everything's gonna get locked in. I don't have this secured yet because I don't need to, but see how this is. These two rails here, they just lock in there. Actually, it locks it. Look, it locks it in right there. So when that's screwed into there, and I'll use some long screws for that, so they can really dig in there. And then these are locked in here, and of course, then these are locked in there. And guess where these go? Nowhere. They can't go anywhere. They're just stuck. And then we'll secure this down before we install the batteries into it in there. Now, what I've got to do before that, I've got to make this look better. Okay. We're not just building a pine box for these, so I'm going to put some felt on it, and then probably do another test fit, and then get it in there. And look at that little guy over there. Hey, Bear. He just gardened. All right. This is what I'm thinking. Cut myself a little bit. So now it's hopefully maybe making a little bit more sense. All right. We'll have this guy right here. All the wires coming down into it. So I got to cut those, but this is how it'll end up being. And, you know, there's a little bit of stagecraft. I'll say, you know, the back side of this doesn't look nearly as nice as the front side, but is what it is. My fingers can only take so much. If anyone's curious, this is probably pretty darn close to the best way to run a 8 24-volt batteries in parallel. So what we've got here is we've got them in parallel pairs. I've got some jumpers here that I don't have hooked up, so you're just gonna have to, you know what, you're gonna have to wait to the end of the video to see exactly how that gets hooked up. How about that? But I wanted to see how they'd all go to the Lynx power in, and what that is basically a giant bus bar with no fusing. You can actually install fuses in here if you want, but we're not going there. So I got those in here, and then I ran those into this massive Daihool 400 amp 2-pole breaker and shut-off combination. We're loving these things. They are so amazing. The only downside is I have to somewhere here. Oh, here we go. When I put the 4-aught lugs on there, I do have to trim them down a little bit. I put those, well, I have a method for doing that I'm not going to share on YouTube because it's not something I want to share on YouTube. It has nothing to do with that cut on my finger. Nothing at all. All right, anyway, we're losing daylight here, and I want to get it in there. All right, this is a big moment right here because, as you can see, it fits. If that didn't fit, that was really going to stink. All right, I'm going to load this battery up there, and I decided how I'm going to what I'm going to call this type of battery arrangement. I'm calling it stadium battery. Well, next morning, or at least what's left of it, we got up bright and early, before 7, and started work on this thing. Got, well, I'll show you where I'm at. How about that? I got a little bit of April showers out here. Woo! And a little bit of April wind, whatever that is. All right, so we got this all wired up, and of course I tried turning it on and nothing happens because all these batteries are still asleep. So they're not going to wake up until we apply some charge to them, and I got to do a little bit more work here yet. With this wind, it's definitely looking iffy if I'm going to get those solar panels up there or not, but we will see. Oh, it's a quarterback. He's back. He's got a smaller ball, though. I don't think they're going to let you play with that in the NFL, bud. It's just going to be your left tackle right here, the bear. I'm on top of the world. All right, just this RV, I guess. Did I tell you I was planning on trying to do soft starts on this thing too? Yeah, 3 of them. Oh boy, I'm in it deep. Okay, hopefully you can hear me. Got these run down there. Turns out I picked the right vent tube once again. I'm 100% on those. Never hit a blank tank yet. Just got this soft start installed. Figured I should probably do that first. Here, let's go a little bit wider. There we go. Some of you asked me, why do we always do 200 watt panels? And I figured now would be a great time to talk about why we do it. And this is it right here. You ever seen those cars in the parking lot where they take up 4 spaces? That's this solar panel right here, okay? We could put a 200 watt panel here. We could put one here. Actually, we could probably still put one there, but go with me here. We could put one here, and we could put one here. And actually, you can maybe put one right here. So this is 800 watts of solar, 370 watts is taking up that spot. Now, that doesn't make any sense. So, that guy has got to go. Customer's cool with that. So, I'm going to get the other 2 of these soft starts put in, and then get that taken off, and it's about closing down at 4 o'clock. I want to try and get this done tonight. Yeah, I so do. We will see. Will it happen? Keep watching. I'm not trying to make it dramatic. I'm not trying to make this dramatic. I really don't know. I want to believe. I always think everything's going to take less time than it does. And it always takes longer. But I'm committed. I want to say I don't care if I'm out here till midnight. I want my Saturday. All right, we're bringing in backup. We've got Amelia returning to the channel, doing her expert solar bracket fastening. Right, Mel? Yeah. All right. So she's getting these ready to go. We'll pull this one off. And she's also head dog watcher, dog walker, dog sitter, anything to do with the dogs, she takes care of. So I'm gonna go bring this one up onto the roof, and she's gonna keep rocking there. We're gonna see if we can get this done today yet, right? Look at her go. There's some kind of rain, snow mix coming down right now. I might have to finish this up tomorrow. Got that one panel that Millie put together. Got that up here. She's putting together more. I got plenty of stuff to do. Yeah, I can see it. It's not acting like rain when I look in front of me. But I got some more stuff I could do down below. Keep this project moving. I could probably get everything done except the solar. So I guess what you'll have to do is follow and find the next video, and you can see how it turns out. Yeah, I'm gonna call it here. It's I don't think this rain's gonna be letting up for a while. Been going at this pretty hard for a while. Like I said, guess we're gonna have to go into extra innings. But be looking for that follow-up video. yeah, just look for whatever this is, part 2. I'll add it in the description down below after it comes out as well if you watch this in the future.